Yeah, I've got this letter. I mean, you know, Christians are scared to death many times more than not, to discuss the change that whore in Rome made concerning the Sabbath day. Now, but you know, before I get started, let me just go. I mean, I always have to say this: you and I are supposed to give thanks every day we draw breath. We're supposed to sing psalms and hymns and spiritual songs pursuant to Colossians 3:16. We're supposed to read the scriptures every day. We're supposed to have some kind of spiritual nourishment every single day. I'm not talking about not doing anything on Sunday, okay? And people will insult your intelligence with that, you know. But that's not what I'm getting ready to talk about. What I'm talking about is I've got a letter in my hands right here, well, a copy of a letter. And this is going to illustrate to you that Rome was behind the change, and Christians have been played Christians have been played, man. That's the only way I know how to say it. Been played like a fiddle. And all you pastors, you have access to this information. I want you to do something. I want you to Google this. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna read it for everybody, and then you pastors, you go Google this, and you read this Sunday, you read your congregation this letter. If you had any courage at all, and you wanted truth for your congregation, you'd read them what I'm about to read you tonight. Okay? Now, in 1934, a gentleman by the name of J.L. Day wrote Pope Pius II a letter. Okay? This man, J.L. Day, was from Thomaston, Georgia. And this letter is dated May 22nd, 1934. And let me read it to you. It's a very brief, it's 2 sentences, okay? Dear Sir, is the accusation true that Protestants accuse you of? They say you changed the 7th-day Sabbath to the so-called Christian Sunday, identical with the first day of the week. If so, when did you make the change and by what authority? Yours very truly, J.L. Day. Okay? Short and to the point. Alright? Now, here was what he got back from Rome. Okay? Now, and this appeared in the Catholic Extension magazine. Okay? It was the largest Catholic magazine published in the United States. Okay? Located in Chicago, Illinois. Okay, this is what he got back from one of the Pope's minions. Okay, one of the Antichrist minions wrote him back. Okay, and this is what it said. Dear Sir, regarding the change from the observance of the Jewish Sabbath to the Christian Sunday, I wish to draw your attention to the facts. Number 1. That Protestants who accept the Bible as the only rule of faith and religion should by all means go back to the observance of the Sabbath. The fact that they do not, but on the contrary observe the Sunday, stultifies them in the eyes of every thinking man. Exactly right. Sunday Christians, you've already lost credibility. And Satan is having a field day with this right here. This response from the Vatican, okay, delivered by Peter R. Tramer, who's the editor, he had the blessings of Pope Pius II to send this response. Okay, did you hear number 1? I'm going to read it again. That Protestants who accept the Bible as the only rule of faith and religion should by all means go back to the observance of the Sabbath. The fact that they do not, but on the contrary observe the Sunday, stultifies them in the eyes of every thinking man. And every thinking Christ follower can go into this sacred book right here and see that that day was never changed in the Scriptures. They'll take you to Acts 27. They'll take you to 1 Corinthians 16 2 and some other passages that have nothing to do with changing the day. Okay? To justify their worshiping now on Sunday and totally ignoring the seventh day of the week. All right? But here, the Pope Pius II is telling you, Protestants and Christians, that you should go back to the seventh day. Straight from the whore's mouth. Okay? Number 2. We Catholics do not accept the Bible as the only rule of faith. That they just admitted right there that they're Antichrist. Let me go ahead and let me stop right here. I mean, if that's not an admission that they're Antichrist, I don't know what is. They're telling you who they are. It's time for you Catholics to come out of there and trust the Christ of Israel for your salvation. Exodus 20, verse 1. And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. The first sentence on number 2 of the response says that we Catholics do not accept the Bible as the only rule of faith. And it goes on. Besides the Bible, we have the living church, the authority of the church as a rule to guide us. So they just said the church is placed over the Bible, meaning that they have another God, and their God is the church. They've rejected this. They've rejected the Most High God. They're placing the Roman Catholic hierarchy and Pope above the blessed words of the Most High. They're telling you they're Antichrist, okay? We say this church instituted by Christ to teach and guide men through life has the right to change the ceremonial laws of the Old Testament, and hence we accept the change of the Sabbath to Sunday. We frankly say, yes, the church made this change, made this law, as she made many other laws. For instance, the Friday abstinence, the unmarried priesthood, the laws concerning mixed marriages, the regulation of Catholic marriages, and 1,000 other laws. That's the whore speaking right there, my friend. That is the whore of Rome speaking. They changed that. It says 1,000 other laws. Unbelievable. And Christians are taking their marching orders from these people. The biggest heretics on the planet. Satan, the pedophile machine. Full of faggots. And yes, I said that word, faggot. It's a biblical word. Bunch of queers. And Christians are going right along with the pedophile homosexuals that fill up the Vatican. And not just the Vatican, they're all over the world. Okay? We know they're in the United States of America. They get slapped on the wrist when they sodomize some little boy, and then the cardinals and the archbishops, they move them to another diocese. When those criminals should be locked up and have the key thrown away on them. They just move them. They move them around. And here's the third reason. Number 3. We also say that of all Protestants, the Seventh-day Adventists are the only group that reason correctly and are consistent with their teachings. Well, I'll tell you right now, I'm a Saturday. Listen, I'm a Seventh Day observer, and I'm not a Seventh-day Adventist. They're just as heretical as the Roman Catholic Church. You ask a Seventh-day Adventist to set aside the teachings of Ellen G. White and see what they say. They're a bunch of heretic devils. They're following Ellen G. White, a lying false prophet. But they're saying they reason correctly on the seventh day of the week. That part's true. All right. It is always somewhat laughable. Listen to this. It is always somewhat laughable to see the Protestant churches in pulpit and legislature demand the observance of Sunday, of which there is nothing in the Bible. With best wishes, Peter R. Tramer, editor. And that was with the blessing of Pope Pius II, those answers. Here, yeah, I mean, look it up. Google, you just do a Google search. Google the Catholic Extension magazine. Put in there Pope Pius II. It'll pull this letter right up. You can get that letter right now. And I'm if there's any pastors out there, if you're watching, I'll challenge you. Get that and read that to your congregation on Sunday, and see what happens. Not only read the letter to them, then tell them we're going to go to the Saturday. We're going to go to the seventh day. We're going to be meeting on Saturday afternoon or Saturday morning, and see what kind of firestorm you start. You'll get run out, because on Saturday they have. The congregation is going to be shopping and doing everything other than wanting to go to a meeting to read the Bible, to go through the 5 books of the Bible, to go through the law and the Tanakh, to go through the prophets, and then to study the words of Christ. They're not going to want to do that. They got the football game to go to, especially down here, in the southeastern part of the country, in FEMA Region 4. The people down here, they worship college football, and I know it's like that all over the country. There's all kinds of entertainment for all the different parts of the country that we're in, but you have a war on your hands. You have to make a choice. Okay, now listen. Just the Sunday, they're going to get the Sunday laws passed. Okay, you could better believe that. They are going to implement Sundays as a law for you to keep Sunday. It's coming. Because who's in charge of who's in charge of the Senate? Who's in charge of the House of Representatives? Who's in charge of the NSA? Who's in charge of the CIA? Who's in charge of all these institutions? The Jesuit order in the Roman Catholic Church. They're the ones in control. Okay? Your politicians are nothing but they're paid puppets. Alright? And their puppet masters are in Rome. Are you listening? They are mocking the Holy Scriptures and the Most High God of Israel. This letter right here is a mockery. Okay? I just, let's just go back to Exodus 20. All right? And let's, I only read the first couple verses, but let me pick it up again. Verse number 3. This is the royal law. They already flunked the first 2. Okay? I'll start with verse 3. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. The Roman Catholic Church has placed themselves, like I said earlier, above the Most High. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. That means, Christians, take those stupid fish symbols off your car. Take the Philistine fish god symbol, the fish of the god of the Dagon, D-A-G-O-N, the fish god of the Philistines. Take that stupid graven image off your car if you follow Christ. That is a graven image. And it is something that lives underneath the water. And Exodus 24 says to not even make those things. And you Christian pastors, you say you're real fired up about it. Yeah, I am. Because you can't even go into a Baptist church or any other kind of church without seeing a huge Roman cross in there. And usually it's behind the pulpit. And then if you're in the United States of America, you got the Roman flag with the bald eagle on top of it. And then to the right of it, you have Constantine's flag. I mean, there's idols everywhere. Take all those out, Christian pastors. Why don't you take those out? You say you're following Christ. Well, guess what? Christ's laws are right here in Exodus chapter 20. Real simple. Verse number 5. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and shewing mercy unto them, unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Yeah, he wants you to keep his commandments. We just read a couple of them, Oh, the law's done away with. This is the royal law! Are you trying to tell me that the royal law is done away with, Christian? And Christians are always like about grace, 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 grace. Well, guess what? God has laws, 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 laws. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Verse number 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. What does holy mean? Separate. There should be one day out of the week, brethren, there should be one day out of the week that is different than any other day. And listen, don't use your debit card. Don't spend your money. Just keep yourself in the Bible. Okay? Enjoy your family. Okay? Don't do any servile work. All right? Don't carry any burdens. You're supposed to take that day as a day of rest. And and you know what? You say, well, it's hard in Babylon. Well, yeah, because the whore's kingdom over here in the daughter of Babylon makes it real difficult. But guess what? It doesn't matter if it's real difficult. Lay your burdens down on that day. You ought to be, we work our tails. Listen, men especially, most of you work Monday through Friday, right? You work all week long. It would seem logical that you would want a break. And I'll tell you right now, there's nothing quite like Friday night for me in our house. It's just, we just hang around, we have a good time, we might play a game or two, we read the Bible, we relax. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Verse 9, 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore The Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. All right? He blessed the seventh day and hallowed it. All right? And then the next commandments are how we are supposed to address those around us. Okay? The first commandments are having to do with how we are to honor and obey the Most High directly, and then the next commandments are how we are supposed to deal with those around us. Okay, but yeah, he hallowed it. Now let's go to Exodus 31:17. Exodus 31:17. Speaking of the Sabbath day. It is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day he rested and was refreshed. Okay? So it's a day unlike any other. Alright? I'm going to go up. That was verse 17 of Exodus 31. Verse 13 says, Speak thou also unto the children of Israel, saying, Verily my Sabbaths ye shall keep, for it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that ye may know that I am the Lord that doth sanctify you. Set you apart. You're different. You're holy. You're special. And as a special people, as a peculiar people in this hell-ridden, hell-hole, the kingdom we live in, you should act differently. You should shine. Shine your light. You know. You shine your light when you tell people you're going to a Sabbath class. Alright? You shine your light when you spend your Friday night at home. Okay? Or in fellowship with other believers. Why? Because the rest of the world's out getting drunk. Right? Partying. Concerts. Just got paid on a Friday night. Right? The rest of the world, they could care less. They could care less. They don't care. Right? And that's why there's so many. Let me tell you something. On a Friday night and a Saturday, that's when more people are killed than any other day. Why? Well, because that's when everybody gets paid and they go out and they break the Sabbath day and the Most High kills them. Oh, I don't like this. I don't know. Yes. He kills and he makes alive. Okay? He's the one that gave you life, and he's the one who's going to take your life. Right? So yeah. I mean, and it's a real basic lesson. This portion is real basic. I mean, the 10 Commandments. But yet it's such a stumbling block. And right here in my hand is and there's a lot of other of quotes that have been made throughout the centuries of how they switched it. They switched the day. It's like their mark of authority, It is, man. And think about it. Everybody gets up on a Sunday morning and goes to church. They go to church on Sunday. Day of the sun. Christos Helios, the sun god of the Romans and the Greeks. Oh, I'm not doing that. I'm worshiping Christ. No, you're not, because because Christ told you to do it on the seventh day. He told you to keep that day. Yeah. So I wanted us to take I wanted to read that letter tonight, and definitely when you get a chance, you need to you really need to look at it and let those words sink in. All right.